Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a little stash of makeup here in front of me. Some old things, some new things, something from Tatcha that we're gonna be trying out for the first time. I've got a new lip gloss, and then I have an eyeshadow palette that I've raved about a lot here on my channel, but as I got to thinking about it, I don't know that I've actually ever used it for you guys or shown it in action. So I wanna do that for you guys today. So we're just gonna chat our way through this makeup look today. Hope you guys are excited about it. Let me welcome all of my new visitors here. Thanks for joining me today. Please consider subscribing. But we've got a full face to put on today, so let's get right to it. All right, hair is pinned up, out of the way. Let's start off with this. So I just picked this up yesterday at a local TJ Maxx. It's from Kapari. This is their lip glossy in the clear version. It's a coconut scented, I don't even know if I'd call it a lip gloss. It's more like a lip oil. I mean, it is glossy on the lips, but this is so incredibly non-sticky. It's absolutely lovely. I'm so glad that I decided to throw this into my cart. I happened to be there school shopping with my oldest son. I saw they had a bunch of these that were like brand new. So I got one for me, I got one for my mom, and it is lovely. So let's move on to the skin. I really want to do like a nice skin focused look today. I have this right here. This is the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream, kind of a smaller version that I got as like a birthday gift from Sephora. I have never tried out any of the Tatcha products. I hear wonderful things about them. I know they are very, very pricey. I'm kind of afraid of falling in love with this stuff because sometimes it's a dangerous game to play trying out expensive products. So we're gonna apply this to my skin. I just washed my hands, put sunscreen on my face about 20-30 minutes ago. So let's just add a little bit of extra hydration to my skin. It smells really nice. Not overly fragranced. I mean, there's a fragrance there, but it's not super strong. That's really nice. Very hydrating. You do not need a lot of this. I put, I don't know exactly. I mean, I probably put about that much on. I probably didn't even need that much. I probably needed half that much, just the tiniest dot, because it is quite rich. Very, very thick feeling. But if you have really dry skin, you might really appreciate that. Hopefully it wears well underneath my other skin products. So let's do something really light coverage today. I want to go with my MAC Studio Radiance foundation. I don't even like to call this a foundation because it's one of the lightest coverage products that I have in my makeup collection, but I do want to keep my skin a little bit more on the natural side. We'll try and cover up the things that really need to be concealed with concealer. So I'm just going to take this on a brush today. This is my IT Cosmetics brush, which I have been using almost exclusively for over a week now. I watched a bunch of videos of Katie Jane Hughes, as you guys know. I just did a video kind of inspired by her, but watching her put foundation on with a brush really quickly just made me want to try it. So I've been doing it lately and it is pretty fast. That is one thing I like about it. It goes on really fast. Let's add a little bit of concealer. Let's take my Dior Forever Skin Concealer. This thing, I am making a big dent in. It's probably over halfway gone now. Pretty good progress for me. I have a lot of concealers that I feel like I am constantly rotating between, but this is one that I'll reach for pretty regularly, especially when I have some serious things to cover. Oh, that reminds me, let's also apply. So I found this in the back of my drawer. This is from Pur Cosmetics. It's their Get a Grip eyeshadow primer. It's a little sample. I don't even know where I got this. Likely from a Sephora order in the past. I don't know how long it's been there. I don't even know if they still sell this stuff, but I did just open it up a couple of days ago. We're just letting that concealer, by the way, just kind of set before I apply concealer to my eyelids. I want to apply this. So this stuff is incredible. It is a fantastic eyeshadow primer. I'm just gonna leave that there for right now, and then we're gonna finish blending out my concealer. I wanna apply just a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna do my brows before I apply too much concealer up here, but I wanna put just one little dot on my inner lid because I do have some redness right there, just to kind of use to conceal some of my eyelid and get my shadows to pop a little bit today, because we are gonna be using more neutral colors, but I want them still to kind of stand out, even though they're not super bold. Again, I'm just using the brush. So as I am blending this in, big day today for me, well, not really for me, for my son, but vicariously for me. So he's 18, we're driving down to his college for college. I think it's like orientation or registration. Basically, they give you like a campus tour, you get your ID card, and then he moves in next week. It's gonna be different around here. We've had a taste of it this summer because he hasn't been home a lot because he's been traveling a lot with his baseball team. So any of you parents out there that have gone through this phase with your kids, have kids leave the nest, if you have any advice to share with me, I am all for it, because I kind of feel like this is gonna be a real weird year. Charlie's starting kindergarten. I actually have a kid in each school. So I have one starting kindergarten for the first time. Then I have another starting junior high. And then I have one that's gonna be a sophomore in high school. And then one starting in college. So I kind of feel like I have all the phases going on. It's gonna be a little crazy, I think, but I don't know. It's also gonna be kind of nice to have my kids all officially in school. So I just put a little bit of my ABH brow gel through my brows. Let's go ahead and fill those in now. I also applied some powder. I'm sure you guys saw me. So for my brows, let's add a little bit of this. This is the Revlon permanent, semi-permanent brow ink. It's kind of like a little pen. Oh gosh, I should be closer to the mirror. I've been using the Tony Moly pen since I did my Katie Jane Hughes video a lot, and I feel like I'm getting better at that one, so I wanted to give this one another try. This one's a little bit different. I feel like it's felt tipped, so it doesn't actually have the natural brush hairs, and it does stay in place really, really well. Let's add a bit of brow gel. I'm gonna take my Etude House Barrage Brow Fixer. Really like this one. It sets down really nicely. It makes them nice and moderately stiff, but it's not quite as like crusty as some clear brow gels can get. Okay, we're gonna let those set down, kind of dry. Now let's add some bronzer. Let's take my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer today, my cream bronzer. I'm gonna use my, where is it? Let's use the Sydney Grace foundation brush. This is such a nice product though. Honestly, I'm really enjoying all of my recent cream bronzer purchases. I mentioned this one in the Mario one in my last favorites video. And then I kind of felt bad for my NARS one, so I've started using that one again lately. And I'm like, you know, this one's really good too. All right, let's add a little bit of highlighter. I want to use the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter today and do a cream highlighter with this. You guys have probably seen everyone on YouTube try out the new e.l.f. dupe for the Flawless Filter. I'm dying to try it, but I haven't ordered it yet, and I kind of feel like I'm always so late. I feel like I'm playing catch up all the time, so I'm always a little bit late, at least lately. I don't know. I keep hoping that life is gonna settle down and I'll be able to get kind of back on top of things here on my channel, but I've been hoping that since 2020, in combination with just my life getting busier as my kids get older. That's kind of been like wishful thinking for 2 years now, and I'm like, okay, at some point, maybe it's just the way things are and I need to stop with the wishful thinking and just kind of deal with doing my best and just being happy with what I'm doing. Anyways, now I'm rambling, but basically I feel like I'm a little late to trying this, but I am curious to see for myself if it is a dupe, because I've seen so many people say a lot of other products they think are close dupes, or they'll call, like for example, the Milani Soft Focus Glow was compared to this, which I like that product. I did not think it was a dupe though. I've heard the same thing about a couple other things, including like the 4-in-1. There's been a few that I've heard people compare to the Hollywood Flawless Filter that I've never quite thought have gotten there. So I feel like anytime someone talks about one, I'm like, I've got to try. That stuff is so pretty though. Isn't that just so, like, that natural glow is just gorgeous. Let's add a little bit of blush. So for blush today, I'm gonna use my Romand Juicy Lasting Tint in Nucademia. This is a lip product. I think I just talked about this in a video that just went up, but it is actually a lip product that I got from Yes Style, but it makes the most beautiful blush. It is absolutely lovely. In fact, I don't even really like this on my lips, but I love it on my cheeks. So we're gonna take a little bit of that on the back of my hand. Let's just pop that on the cheeks. Just kind of going around the edges with my fingers just to make sure it's blended out nicely. Let's move on to the eyes. Today I want to use my Nabla Cutie Nude Palette. I just got done talking about this in my recent palette ranking video. This came in as my #2 palette from this year so far. This was new to me this year, but I know this palette has been around for quite a long time. But it is a staple palette in my collection. I reach for this palette all the time, and as I was talking about it, I got to thinking, I'm not sure that I've used it on camera for you guys possibly ever, but if at all, not very often. So I wanted to use it today because it is a palette that I reach for very, very frequently, and I just think the world of this thing. It is so, so nice. So we're gonna go in with the Sydney Grace Medium Blending Brush. I'm just gonna build up this matte shade right here. Again, it's not necessarily a matte formula, it's kind of a creamy version of a matte. But I absolutely love this formula and this color. And this one I find I like to actually tap it on because it is more creamy, and then I'll kind of just like swipe back and forth. Stuff just really like moves, glides on the skin in a way that's just a little different than a traditional matte formula is. Now I'm going to take this shader brush, also from Sydney Grace, in that same shade. This is the shade it's called Latex Nude. And we're going to run that under the lower lash line, about halfway across. Now we're going to layer a bit of this shade down here. This is the same formula as the lighter shade we just used. It's just a little bit darker. This is the shade No Doubts. Again, I'm going to use that same medium blending brush that I use. This one's pretty dense. I like using a more dense brush in these shadows or this formula. Just going to smudge this right here in the outer corner, down towards my lash line. Now I'm going to smudge a little bit of this black along my lash line. So I'm going to go with a few layers of this. Just I'm taking that same shader brush, this kind of small C-shaped brush, take the tiniest bit on the very tip of the brush and just really smudge it into my lashes right at the outer corner. Pull it up slightly, and I'm going to do this in a few layers. It's going to build up that black inky color. Then I'm going to go back to that shader brush, or the medium, what is this called? Medium blending brush. And we're just going to kind of smudge this out a little bit so it blends into those other shades. I'm going to do this, a few layers of this, and I'm going to add a little bit more of that black. Now for the shimmers, let's take a little bit of this one, the berry toned one. This is the shade Seducer. Take that just on my ring finger, and we're going to pop this all over the outer 2/3 of the lid, leaving this outer corner free of shimmer. All right, now I want to add a tiny bit of brightness to my inner corner, so I'm going to take a bit of concealer. I have this one right here. This is from Peri Para. This is their Double Long Wear Concealer. It's a very light concealer shade for me. I'm going to take just the tiniest amount here on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take this little brush from Sydney Grace. This is the small shader brush. I'm going to add a little bit of this to the inner third of my lid, just to kind of brighten things up before I go in with the gold. It's just going to add a little bit more brightness and open up my eyes a little bit there, rather than just using the shadow alone. So I'm just going to kind of tap this top of it with my finger so we don't have a harsh line right there. All right, now let's go with the gold. This is the shade Moonlight. Here in the corner, I'm going to use my pinky finger. Actually, scratch that. Let's use a brush. So I'm going to use this one from Rephr. This is the Rephr number 21 brush. I'm going to apply that gold right on top of that concealer, and then kind of tap it in to overlap where the berry tone is. All right, there's the finished eyes. I'm just going to take, before I wipe off that concealer, I'm going to take a little bit of that concealer on that same brush that I used. I'm going to add just a little bit of this underneath my brow here. Do you guys do this step? Whether you do it with shadow or concealer. It's often something I skip, but I'm trying to see if I like what it does for just adding a little more definition to my brows. I don't know. Okay, now I want to add just a little bit of liner. Let's take my Wet n Wild Sima Brown Now liner. I'm going to apply a little bit of this to my waterline, just on the outer third. Then I'm going to add a couple coats of my Lash It Loud mascara. And here are the finished eyes. Do you guys see why I love this eyeshadow palette so much? I just love that very like blended, blown out kind of brownie berry look. It's just so pretty. This palette is gorgeous. It's simple, but there's something special and kind of unique about it. Even though I have a lot of shades that mimic these, there's nothing quite like this within my collection, both with the shades and the finishes. It's just really, really special to me. So let's move on. Lastly, to the lips. I do want to add just a little bit of lip liner. Let's take, oh, what should we do today? This is going to be too pink. Pillow Talk here. from Charlotte Tilbury. Let's do it. I've already done Charlotte Tilbury a few times. We might as well keep the streak going. This is the shade Pillow Talk. As I kind of rub that, I almost smudge it inwards as well, just to pull a little bit of the color to the center of my lips. And then on top of that, let's just go with the classic. I'm gonna take my NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Creme Brulee. And here it is, guys. This is the finished look. What do you guys think? I love this eye look. It's just so pretty. I know I've said that 4 times in this video already. What do you guys think of some of the new products that I tried out today? How many of you guys have tried out the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream? It feels really nice on the skin. I'm gonna have to keep playing with it before I can give any final thoughts, but so far so good. Definitely very, very hydrating for those of you that have dry skin. Telling you guys, if you happen to be out school shopping, if you wander into a TJ Maxx or Marshalls and they happen to have this Kapari lip gloss, it came in a pink box. I didn't save the box, but it did come in like a little pink and white box. I had a ton of them at my TJ Maxx. I highly recommend it. I think this stuff is incredible. In fact, I should probably put some on top. I put this on as like a prep, but let's go ahead and throw a little bit of extra glossy lip shine on top of my NYX Butter Gloss just because we can and because it smells so delicious. Oh, I'm telling you guys, dangerously yummy. I could probably eat this. In fact, keep it away from Charlie. She does eat really yummy smelling lip products. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Wish me luck as I see my first son off to college. Boot him out of the house. I'm kidding. I'm actually really gonna miss him. I will be back with you guys very shortly. I have some more fun kind of celebrity and makeup artist inspired videos coming your way. I hope you guys have kind of been enjoying those for kind of a change of pace. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Let me give you one last reminder. Please consider subscribing before you leave, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye. I keep thinking that's a swatch. It's not. It's a former burn, like a tiny little thin burn that's not a lip liner. Although my Charlotte Tilbury is not coming off either. That I knew. It is amazing.